Tell us your thoughts on some of the open education resources that are available online, along with some of the free content that's out there.
Right. So we call them OER in our parlance, open education resources. I think there's a real role for OER in our world. At the end of the day, these are really designed to be available for free for students or learners who want access to some content, but they don't have it through traditional means. There's a role for companies like us to play, which is to find a place to integrate those in a way that works for our user class, which is whether it's instructors or students. So we've made some of our more recent platforms, we call them the Open Learning Solutions platform, where we are allowing YouTube feeds or OER text materials an instructor may be making just for themselves for the classroom sharing, but free, to be available in that platform so that you can still do the assessments and gradings that you do need a technology platform like the McGraw-Hill Connect, which is one example of those, be available and applies to all those sources. There's a more fundamental question, Vishali, which is when you talk about OER, is it really a disruptive threat to companies that invest in content the way companies like us have? I would like to believe there's a place for ample coexistence. And the reason is quite simply quality of pedagogy and quality of authorship matters. I was visiting one of our offices in Spain recently, and I was talking to our kind of the head of our Spain business, and he was telling me that our best calling card in that country is the number of Nobel Laureates McGraw-Hill has as their authors. And my response was, oh, we have, and because I was relatively new at the time, and his response was, yes, in fact, the Nobel Laureate in economics from last week, Nordhaus, is a McGraw-Hill author. And so I came back and I asked Catherine, our head of PR and communication, can you just give me the list of all the Nobel Laureate authors we have, and kind of how big a deal is it? And she came back with 50. We've got 50 Nobel Laureate authors, and 92 if you count all contributors who are doing part contributions and not full authors. I use that as a metric to demonstrate that the quality of what a Nobel laureate produces is irrefutable. So this is not just a metric that the CEO of, it's not a convenient metric that I would make up. And they were our authors well before they got their Nobel Prizes. And these are really hallmarks of what quality would imply in a given field. You want that kind of quality and content applied with the best of pedagogy, be available in scales and platforms, and maintained over time, because there are many domains and fields that change. Science changes, there are discoveries. In math, there are new formulas that come up. And so these are things that are living and breathing. And there needs to be someone who's accountable for making that chain the best of what it can be, made available, and takes accountability in forms of customer service when things do go wrong, and they always do. And that's why you need a sustainable, thriving entity responsible at the end of the day, and make sure whatever you do is affordable and meets the goals of the students. So I don't want to get so far ahead that there's a case to be made for all commercial entities, but as long as we play our part, I think OER plays one part of that big ecosystem, and we have a big part to play as well.